Hello, I'm Archibald Chesterfield III and welcome to the ArchieLuxury channel. And today I'd like to talk about taking my Speedy on travel. What have I found? How has it gone taking the Speedy on my holiday adventure? And it's been a good watch. There. It's really cool. I love it to death. The only criticisms are that obviously you got to wind it every day, which I actually enjoy. That's not a negative. That's okay. Doesn't have the date feature. When you're traveling, you kind of lose track of the day and the date. So that's just a little bit of a negative. It's, I suppose, in all honesty, the Submariner with its rotating bezel is a better timer than a chronograph. Chronograph is like for racing and things like that. When you're a bit dazed from alcohol and food abuse, it's easier to read a Submariner, the rotating bezel as a timer. The only negatives with this watch, I love this watch to death. Absolutely love it. The steel is not as good as Rolex steel, okay? Not as good as Rolex steel. One thing I find is a bit annoying, got to be a little bit careful of, is you don't scratch the fuck out of that back clasp, the clasp. It's because it's kind of, this is the later model Speedy. This is a 2005. It's got that new type bracelet, and that can be an absolute bitch. You can easily scratch the shit out of that. Like, I've been asleep in economy seats and you dong it, you got to be very, very careful with it. And I got to say too, also the Halcyon glass there, see that? It's quite domed there. So you want to make sure you don't dong that fucker on your nogger. And as far as the watch goes, what do I think of it? I think, since I've had it on travel, I've realized the design is classic. It's a vintage looking watch. Like when I look at it, I thought, oh yeah, that's timeless, classic. Well, it is actually a little dated. I've been to Vietnam, which would have been these Speedmasters would have been in Vietnam in the war. The Americans would have had Speedy, a lot of, officer class, of course. We're not talking grunts. Officer class would have had Speedies, and they're an expensive watch. They're not super cheap. And I gotta say, I think it is a dated piece. It's very retro, vintage sort of looking piece. And I suppose it would be better if I had it on a NATO strap. I think a NATO would be really, really cool. It's not waterproof. That's one thing that's a bitch, because I don't like to leave my watches in the hotel safe. You don't know how trustworthy these fuckers are. They're stealing nasty little fuckers and steal shit from you. So, I'm a little bit cautious of it, but traveling with the Speedy, there's been good things. It's a cool watch. It's cool. I suppose, look, I suppose, would I travel again with it? I'd probably travel with a Rolex. Probably, if I'm traveling again, I'd say I'd let's have a look at it. Would I take my Reverso Grand Date? Well, that's a bit the Reverso Grand Date, the leather strap isn't really great for traveling, so no, not that one. Would I take my Explorer 2? Oh, that's a perfect travel watch. Perfect. That'd even be perfect on a NATO. My Breitling Super Ocean Abyss 42. Yeah, that's a travel watch. A little bit shiny, so you could get it scratched. It's a bit of a scratch magnet. Gold sub. Well, gold sub, it's a bit very precious. I don't actually like to use it. It's something to hoard and possess, not actually to use the gold sub. So the Speedy, yeah, it's got legs. But that's my opinion on it. So there you go. I'm Archibald Chesterfield III, talking Speedies, and how has my Speedy enjoyed the trip? Let me know what you nasty, vicious fuckers. Think of that. Nice one, Archie. Great vid from Paddy.